Hey guys, Elizabeth Quinn here again at Elizabeth's Scenes and Scents. Welcome back to my channel. Please don't forget to check out my website, which is waftingwonderfulwax.scentsy.us, where I am Liz Quinn, your Star Scentsy Consultant. So today what I have for you is our monthly Scent Note Spotlight, where I'm hoping to do several months, maybe up to a year, of different notes or families of fragrance that we find in our Scentsy bars and in other home fragrance products. So this month we're going to explore amber, which I thought was just a singular scent note. And then as I have been digging into doing a little bit of research on it, I found out it's more of a family, or what is called an accord in perfumery. So when you take a bunch of different notes, you put them together and it makes a particular type of scent, like a fresh scent, or it makes a warm and woody oriental type scent, or it makes a musky scent. That's an accord. So amber is a family of perfume notes that can contain things like vanilla, patchouli, and then things that are more scientific, but it basically comes from balsams, which are different types of tree resin. And then it's also sweet, spicy, and powdery, and it can have musky and smoky notes too. So it can actually come from a hardened tree resin, where then if it really fossilizes, then it becomes amber that we can make into beads and things like that. There is a particular type of a scent that we really don't use anymore because it comes from sperm whales, called ambergris, that I think it's outlawed in most places, but that is a very sweet and particular scent that was in old-fashioned perfumes, and probably at this point it's so expensive and can only be gotten mostly on the black market type thing that we wouldn't even have that in anything. There's ambrette, which is, I believe if I remember right, that is a plant-based, more kind of a licorice-y type amber note. And then of course we've got all sorts of synthetics where it's different chemicals that mix together to get things more like, say, the whale ambergris that we can't have anymore. So that is sort of the background on this. And that would explain to me why I have a whole bunch of different bars here that really have very differing personalities, because white amber is going to be more of those musky notes mixed with florals. You've got your dark amber, which is going to be more like your patchoulis and your wood resins and things like that. You have amber that's mixed with vanilla. It just goes on and on and on. And to be updated in the perfume world, what we used to call the Oriental fragrance family has now just been renamed the Amber fragrance family. So all things exotic, woody, spicy, and all that kind of jazz. So let's talk about what Scentsy bars here go in these different categories. So the first ones are going to be white amber and some of the more, I think what you would traditionally think of as amber, warm and woody type scents. So I've got a pile of beige and gray bars, and then I have what you would think of as amber, the pile of bars with my favorite amber hollow right here at the top, that is that gorgeous amber tiger eye, warm, resinous, orangey brown. And then I have a pile of green bars, which kind of shocked me. I've got a pile of pink and purple, and I also have a pile of blue. So you can see that this fragrance family and the notes that are in it are pretty varied. Unlike bergamot that we did last month, where there was more to that note than I thought, but it still had some very specific slots. Amber is far more complex and covers a lot more territory. So let's get started with white amber and silk. This is a really gorgeous scent that has cotton. This does have bergamot, actually, when I was looking it up, and a really gorgeous warm white amber. And so the reason that there's so much complexity to that, now that I know, is that you have floral in with the more musky and spicy notes, and then you add the cotton and all that. This is a great scent. If you haven't tried white amber and silk, it's currently available. It's a very kind of fancy lady, sophisticated scent that I would think would go very well in a high-end dressing room or a powder room in a gorgeous townhouse or something. Very, very nice. And then one of my favorites is white amber antique, which runs more masculine and it's got a lot of wood along with the amber. But I can also see why, even though it's a masculine fragrance, I like this so much and it's so complex, because if we're leaning more white amber there, and I don't even know what sort of florals would be in this, but there's almost a floral hint that goes with all the sweet, woody muskiness that's in this. Then another one that was quite popular this last fall winter season is vanilla barnwood. This has beautiful, warm, sultry amber in it. And it's got the wood and it's got the vanilla. And the mix of those things, some people think this smells like Fruit Loops. I just love it. It's so nice. This one's in my club. So that you would have to have clubbed or have a stack of. The next one is another one where it was last fall, winter in our Harvest 5-bar bundle. That's going to be our white pumpkin and driftwood. This has solar amber. Now, of all the things that I read, I'm not exactly sure what solar amber is. But I will tell you, every single one of these clams, even when we go into more of the seashore type amber, there is this depth, like I was looking at the notes that they're describing it. It's either powdery or musky, or it's spicy, which of course that is my favorite, sweet and spicy, or smoky. And this one's got the smoky, which might come from the cardamom and some other things that are in here, but the white pumpkin and driftwood was crazy strong. It's a great performer. I'm not sure how many bars I have left because I didn't club it, but it's really nice. And then currently Highway Run is in a Bring Back My Bar, and there are a good number of Bring Back My Bars for the summer of 2024 that have an amber note, and I put as many as I could remember into this pile. So this one, this would be more of probably the sweet and musky or powdery amber. This is a very subtle bar. It's masculine, but somewhat sweet. It's not super cologne-y. It's really, really nice, kind of outdoorsy. It's very good. So those are your definitely atmosphere and warm and woody, but not screaming fall and Spice Bazaar type amber bars. Here's my pile. So we're gonna start with my favorite Amber Hollow, which lots of people love to hate, because this has other things like clove leaf and pepper and deep autumn spices, but this is that rich, warm, classic amber. I was reading up on some of the perfumes, opium, which I love strong scents, and I love really heady perfumes, but even for me, opium's way too much. But that is like your classic amber family fragrance. I personally like to wear original cocoa, and a lot of people like Coco Mademoiselle, which I guess has a lot of amber in it, but I love floriental perfumes. I like loud 80s perfumes, but there is a threshold. Like I said, opium's too much, but this sort of spicy, kind of exotic, really warm, slightly in your face scent, it's just always been my lifelong love. Absolutely love this. So I will be melting some of this soon, and some of my friends in the wax world have sent me their bars because they can't stand it, which is great. I now have a nice pile. Vitamin R Relax has that warm amber note, but it is more tailored. Most people would like this one. This would have to be in your club. So it doesn't have, I probably should have put this actually in that first pile I was talking about, but it's right in between. It's warmer than the first set, but it's the most demure of this second pile, because this also has vanilla sugar. I think it has some, it's bergamot or sandalwood, and I always mess up what's in this bar. But I know it's got amber, and it's just warm and cuddly and so nice. The next one is vanilla suede, and I actually wasn't sure if this had amber in it, but it does. So this one is really nice, like suede, leather, vanilla, musk. It's got all the things that the amber family is supposed to have. It's sweet, it's spicy, it's musky, it's smoky, it's all that. Just gorgeous. And vanilla suede, again, I pulled it from my club, but I've got a good number of them, and it is a fantastic, any day of the year, that one and the Vitamin R, where you just want a cuddly, warm, but not overdone scent in your home. Those are perfect. Here is one that my daughter loves. I don't have much of it left. This is Amber Road. I looked up the notes. This also has birch. It's got a couple of more culinary type spice notes in it, but it's got the amber, and this is a very old bar. I have not gotten a fresh bar of this in a long time, but it's sort of a toned down version of the Amber Hollow without the pepper and that clove leaf that some people find very offensive. That's a very tailored and beautiful bar. So that is my section of more hardcore traditional amber scents. Now, here's kind of a surprising group. Day on the Field had amber in it. This was in our Father's Day collection. And this leans much more green. And so I was kind of surprised. I thought I remembered reading that in the description, so I went back and dug it up. But there's a lot of warmth. There's a little bit of a nice fresh cologne, almost a grassy note, and then I guess the amber, which might be more of the powdery and sweet part, balances all that in this. And this is actually one of my favorite masculine fragrances that has come out this year that was really good. Another green one, which has always had my heart, is Summer Holiday. And this is where amber goes more feminine. This is so beautiful. Again, they retired this. I think you can get it if you're in the European region. This has always been one of my favorite bars. It's got amber and tiger lily and orange and sweetness and I think some plumeria. And it's just phenomenal. And that warmth, it's still summery, but it's perfection. And I thought that when I started melting Summer Holiday this year, that it reminded me of a recent scent of the month, which is called Blooming Marvelous. Now, the Blooming Marvelous has not thrown very well for me, but I thought that they had similar notes. And so I looked this up. This has strawberries and ambers and floral. So between the two, the Summer Holiday performs much better for me. But this has a little bit of kinship with that. And I was happy to know that my nose wasn't just totally going rogue and that these two bars really are somewhat similar. But when you're talking about light, like the Bloom and Marvelous, the Sea Salt Mist that's currently in our Bring Back My Bar, this has a very nice light amber note and like 8 million other things. And yet it's still super light and atmospheric. It's got beach grass. I don't remember all the stuff that's in it, but it's beautiful. And this is a little bit stronger in my home than the Bloom and Marvelous, but not a lot. So gorgeous though. And this has gone in my club. So then we're gonna go to the blue bars. And Sea Salt Mist is very quiet, dainty, demure. You really have to coax it out to smell it. Its sister, Sea Sun and Fun, has got a good amount of sunny amber, I think is how they said it in this. But it's got a lot of other notes that make this particular one shout at you from across the beachway. It's so nice though. I love this smell. I know some people do not care for it, but it's just summer happiness. I've been saying that for a month because this is Bring Back My Bar month and I don't want anybody to miss out on that, but it's so, so good. Now here's an interesting one that has Virginia cedar and notes that are very watery. That's a totally different type of perfume accord. And then it has some amber, and that is High Mountain Lake. And this one, I can't tell you exactly which form of amber is in this because this is one of those smells that you almost can't pin it down. And I've got a couple half clams of this left. It doesn't throw super well. Usually I have to put this in a bedroom, but it has the amber in it, so we were going to talk about it. Now here's one that shocked me as I was going through trying to find Scentsy bars that had an amber note. I forgot that Polar Bear Hug has an amber note in it, and that gives it the powdery quality. This one for sure, probably the powdery and sweet. And this is just a gorgeous Scentsy classic. I would be shocked if it doesn't come back next year. I'll cry a little bit if it doesn't. My older daughter loves this. But there's warmth and sweetness, and it's almost like a winter body care scent. I think this is the one that's got the blackberry and like vanilla musk and stuff, but it's a little bit of amber. It's so beautiful. Now, another one that's current in our Bring Back My Bar that has an amber note is Dark Harbor, and I can definitely smell it in here because it warms it up. It's so good. And then I did want to be able to compare, and I'm going to do it in my What I've Been Warming too because I did them on the same day. The only Teddy Bees that I have that I think has amber is the Perfect Storm. Now, this also has damp leaves and oak moss and citrus. Whereas the Dark Harbor, I know it's got lavender and I don't remember all the other notes, but it's definitely got amber. This one leans very cool. I get a lot of the oak moss, and I didn't really get great throw out of the Perfect Storm. And I've heard from Teddy Bees people that that one is a beast. And I've heard that a lot of people are struggling with Dark Harbor. In my particular home, it was the opposite. Dark Harbor did just fine. It's so nice because I like the warmth from the amber and the lavender. It's so good. Watery beauty. The Perfect Storm's fine, and I will use the rest of it, but I really prefer this. So I thought that was an interesting observation. And then my last pile is the other kind of extreme on amber, although this bar pretty much is all by itself, so we'll talk about that separate. But the pinks, these are all more of that perfumey, feminine, you think about it as maybe body care or you put it in a bedroom kind of smell. But Coastal Sunset has the only amethyst amber note I've ever read of anywhere in any home fragrance. I was gonna look it up and I forgot. I don't even know what amethyst amber is. But what you really get in here is strong, sweet, spicy amber and coconut. And this is such a good smell. If you guys have never tried Coastal Sunset, it is the perfect smell for August. And you've got to get some. It performs so well, and it just makes you want to run out and find a tiki bar somewhere on the beach. It's so, so fun. So then we have our sweet bars that are a lot more cozy bedroom atmospheric. Courage, which is no longer available, but it was in our Mother's Day collection, had some fruit notes. I think raspberry. What else is on here? Maybe some sort of a citrus. And a beautiful note of amber. And the raspberry and the amber made this such a great thing to relax in the bedroom with this scent kind of a deal. So good. Then one that we have in the catalog right now that's on the opposite end of, say, your white amber antique and your white, the white cotton and silk. What is that one? White amber and silk. Those lean very laundry, sophisticated, and cologne-y. Starburst Sky is super sweet and light. Now, some people get almost a cigarette-y type note, and I think that's where the smoky and the musky for some people. I don't know if Maui Mist actually had an amber note. I know it had an incense note, and people complain that Maui Mist, which we haven't seen in years, it was a BBMB, and Starburst Sky can smell rather cigarette-like. I'm not getting that with the bar that I'm currently warming in my room. I'm liking it, but this is very much the musky, smoky side of amber, very powdery, and I almost get nothing but the amber in this to my nose. So I like it, but it is pretty much just all the things of the amber, and I don't even remember what else is in there note-wise. I'll have to look that up before I do my what I've been warming. Cozy cardigan. I didn't realize this had amber. This has silk, and I guess it does. It has amber silk, so I didn't separate the notes until I was reading more carefully. It's got rose. It's so good. And this one is so unique. One of my favorites. I don't think I have this in my club, so I sure hope it comes back this fall. I don't remember if it's in there or not. But this is gorgeous. I know I saved Cozy Cashmere, which is similar, but there's no amber in that. Great, great bar. Perfect for fall in the bedroom. And then Happy Go Lucky, which I have fallen in love with recently, that's in BBMB, has amber vanilla. And I couldn't find that as a particular specific note. It must just be a mix with this accord thing and this whole family that I was telling you about in the perfume world. But this has got plum, it's got the amber, it's got berries. It's so pretty. And it's a great way to end my little jaunt into the amber society here. So if you guys have a favorite perfume that you know has either that amber family that I was talking about, which formerly has been called the Oriental scent family, or you have a specific Scentsy bar or a candle or a vendor wax that you just love that I definitely wouldn't know about and didn't talk about, please leave that in the comments below and let's continue the conversation on the beauty of amber. Now, if I was going to give you a poster child for amber, I do just have to think my beloved Amber Hollow is that very similar. It's not exactly the same because the perfume is so much heavier, but it's just that obnoxious, loud, like late 70s, early 80s amber, kind of like the perfume Opium, and it always makes me smile. So I'm going to end on that note, and I'll talk to you guys soon. I'm gonna have to warm some Amber Hollow in the next couple of weeks. I'll be putting this into my transitional scent basket for melting for getting into August. Have a great day, guys. God bless. Bye-bye.